Hello, everyone, and welcome back, Arsenal Fan TV. America here, back to you from the Northwest, Pacific Northwest, USA. Welcome back to all our soccer fans or our football fans around the world. I know it's been a while, and thanks for all the fans in the comments that asked where we've been. A little bit of an injury, a little bit of sickness, going around. So that's why we had to pause the show for a little bit. However, we didn't pause watching football. And we're here today after a very unfortunate loss. And of course, we're out of the Champions League today. PSG, Parc des Princes in France. We lost that game 2-1. And of course, as you all know, the first game was 1-0. They beat us at the Emirates. So it's, I don't want to beat up on a dead horse, but it's more of the same. It doesn't matter where we got, but it's more of the same every year. We come towards the end and we fumble. Everything we worked for the whole entire year kind of just slips away. And today was a perfect example. As you all saw, if you did see the game, it was really, it's old manager fault. It's not really players' fault. Again, it's a proper manager in Luis Enrique facing an improper manager in Mikel Arteta. Luis Enrique got there before. Luis Enrique won it before. Of course, with, an incredible Barcelona team. But he's been there, he's done that. And that's why PSG got him, so he can take them to the final, which he did. For us, unfortunately, we have an inexperienced manager, that didn't win anything before, doesn't know how to win anything yet. I know it's a work in progress for him, but I would have loved to see him working with other teams, doing his experiments and whatnot with other teams versus Arsenal. And I know now he's untouchable because, it happened. I don't know. I know he's untouchable, but I don't know the reason for it. When you make such, ginormous amount of money, we're talking $12 million a year here that the Arsenal manager makes, and then you expect that caliber to be Carlo Ancelotti, Luis Enrique, Pep, the big coaches, Jurgen Klinsmann. No, not him. Jurgen Klopp, sorry. Jurgen Klinsmann was manager for the United States. He's no longer around, of course, the USA, but that's Jurgen Klinsmann. He's an ex-German player, so excuse me, but I meant Jurgen Klopp. And of course, there's Zinedine Zidane. Let's not forget about that. There's a lot of coaches out there that know how to win this competition. This competition is the most valuable competition for any footballer or any club in the world. This is what they pay the big money for, get the big players for to win it. No, when we look at an Arsenal team today that has all the players in all positions that you need, that has the fans, the fan base is incredible, and has all what it takes to get there except for one thing that gets you there, which is the manager, it kind of feels disheartening, right? And I feel for all Arsenal fans because we certainly can't do anything about it other than, you could, watch one of our YouTubers, friend here, Troops. You can see the guy didn't even, towards the end of the game, he couldn't even say anything. He just stayed there and was speechless. And to me, from myself, I thought about making this episode, but I'm speechless. I don't know what to say anymore. Let me just kind of pause Champions League. We're out. Whether it's Arteta, this, that, we're out. I know for a fact, I put the blame 99% on the manager, but let's go and see the Premier League, for example, right? Now, year in and year out, we come towards the end and then we fumble, right? This year, not only that, you came towards the end and then you lose to Bournemouth. It was a weird game, for lack of better words. But also, you have Newcastle, Liverpool, and Southampton. And there's only 3 points between you and Man City, and about 7 points between you and, third, fourth, and fifth. These guys, Nottingham Forest, Chelsea, Newcastle United, in my eyes, they're better teams now because of a better management. It might snatch your second place from you. I don't trust Arsenal to even stay second. We saw Manchester City, how that was the worst season they've had. Like, they took their foot off the paddle. They didn't show up to a lot of games, but they still 3 points away from us. We have 67, they have 64. That's embarrassing. I mean, even, Guardiola wanted his friend to take if Guardiola was planning that and wanted Mikel Arteta or Arsenal to win the Premier League, he did take his foot off the paddle with of course he has, he has a lot of personal issues himself too. And we're a human being, so we're not going to be perfect all the time. They've done great. They won how many titles? So, but they took their foot off the pedal for us to go and capitalize on that. Yet, Arne Slot, first season, now that's a proper manager. The first season, he takes Liverpool and does what? Wins the Premier League. Carves a name for himself by winning the Premier League, makes his fan base happy, does the right thing with his players. When asked, he says, I don't really bring any tactical or technical or this or that to my players or to the game. All what I bring is energy. I'm not sure if I'm a player working for Mikel Arteta, his energy is not right for me. His tactics are weird. He doesn't change his way of playing. He kind of forces his ways of playing. Listen, Arsene Wenger did that. Luis Enrique can do that. He always plays the way he wants. Carlo Ancelotti that can do that because they have history. But, brother, you don't. You don't have history. And let me give you a very, very simple hint of a mistake that I don't know if anybody noticed or not, but it's a big mistake. Martin Odegaard, you subbed him the first leg when we played PSG at the Emirates. He subbed him towards the end. Now, if you watched yesterday's game between Inter Milan and Barcelona, which is in my eyes one of the best, if not the best games played in the Champions League football, and I don't know, my 40 some odd years that I've been alive watching, what they did, we didn't do. What Simone Inzaghi did, Mikel Arteta didn't do. Because Barella, right? Barella, the center midfielder, the little guy, that's co-captain to Lautaro Martinez. When Lautaro Martinez was out, Pereira, wore the armband. And he was the worst footballer on the field, all 4 halves. The whole time he played, he was really the worst. His passes, his awareness, he lost the ball so many times. In the first 20 minutes, he got the ball 8 times, lost it 7, gave it away 6, and lost it 1 time. But that's just the name of the game. Sometimes you'll have a great game, sometimes you have a bad game, right? But what I want to get to is his coach, his manager, Inzaghi, stuck with him. Versus Mikel Arteta that just gives up on Odegaard. And listen, Odegaard has a lot of criticism in the media, but he's still club captain. You have to weigh that. You don't take him out. He, in my mind, I mean, if you put a statistical performance, machine on everyone, and you see how much running everyone in the team does, I think Odegaard wins because he wins. He runs more than anybody else. He closes down more than anybody else, even if he doesn't get it. But he initiates that. You want your captain all the time. And that's why I know for a fact that Arteta doesn't develop players. I mean, look at Bukayo Saka today. He was horrible. I mean, with all due respect to our star boy. But he was not himself. And I'm not asking Bukayo Saka to be perfect every game. But he wasn't himself. Players under Arteta, they go backwards, right? Thank God. Great news, Jorginho's gone. That's the best news I've heard in the past couple of days about Arsenal Football Club. Jorginho is gone. He's going to go down to Southern America, play, somebody. Thank God he's gone. Because that's another horrific, terrible player that Mikel Arteta brought from Chelsea. And then he came to Arsenal, showed us the worst football. And he was not fit to play the way even Arteta wanted to play. He was more about coaching than playing, Mediocre players like that shouldn't be a part of this very good Arsenal squad. I mean, look at your back 4, Whether it's Ben White or Timber, they're great players. Saliba, Gabriel, even the kid Kivor, not bad. But Saliba and Gabriel, the best pair in the world. To your left, you have Calafiori and you have Kieran Tierney that you don't want to play because of personal vendetta. Again, he's very personally vindictive against a lot of players, and I could see that as a footballer, as a coach. I could see that he prefers certain players. He doesn't play players in the right time, right place. Look at Trossard today. He came in, he changed the game. Why didn't he play from the beginning? You were sticking with Mikel Mourinho, buddy. Mikel Mourinho is nothing but a sub. I'm sorry, with all due respect, he could just be a great sub coming off the bench. But when you give him a starting chance, look, let's just back off a little bit. You know, you're going in PSG and you're starting with Mikel Mourinho and you know, someone like Kivor, which is new. What do you expect? You look at Marquinhos in the back, look at Vitinha in the middle for them, look at Ashraf Hakimi. They have a lot of superstars, and our superstars weren't doing their jobs. The only one that was doing his job first half, if you saw today's game, was Martinelli. And where is Martinelli? He was changed. Again, the wrong sub. He was the only one going at Ashraf Hakimi. He was the one creating all these problems for PSG. But no, Mikel Arteta said, no, he's doing good. Let's take him out. I don't know what else to say. For all these people out there that are still, you know, for him, take him and go somewhere else. Because again, I said it in the beginning of this season, we're not winning anything with this guy. You can go back and review all my episodes. They're right there on the channel. And that's exactly what I said. That he's not taking us anywhere because I don't see him as a leader. I don't see him as a driver, as a motivational person that brings the right energy to the club. I see players under him going backwards. No players under Mikel Arteta for us has developed. Matter of fact, our good players like Emile Smith-Rowe that had development in them, he gave up, sold them. And look at Emile Smith-Rowe. He scored more than everybody in Arsenal when goes to Fulham. Let's not forget that. Martinez that he gave away, one of the best goalkeepers in the world today. A lot of players he gave away. And now you have Raheem Sterling in your squad going to a Champions League semi-final. Buddy, I think you're out of your mind. And I think that you're, you know, not the right coach for Arsenal. I've said it so many different times. I do not believe in his football. He does not play beautiful football. He does not play attractive football. And on top of all that, he fumbles a lot. Towards the end, he always loses it. So that's the story with Arteta. And it's repetitive. If it was the first year, you can come on the show and be like, oh my God, no, the Arteta is the greatest. What are you talking about? And all this. I really don't care about these fans' opinions. I don't care about the media opinion either, because today everybody is their own, you know, their own advocate. They want to just promote their own opinion. It's all about, you know, hypocrisy. And I'm not a hypocrite, and I never will. So you come to this show, you will hear the truth, and you will hear what's real. Not what the media wants you to hear, or not what the media wants you to believe. This guy has no history. He's no good, and he's proven it 5 years in a row. Three of them, he fumbled the Premier League. The Premier League that I don't believe is as strong as it used to be when Arsene Wenger and Jose Mourinho and Conte and all these guys were around. Now, you're going to have Tottenham and Manchester United probably will be in the UEFA Champions final, that UEFA Cup final, right? And of course, as we all know, congratulations to Inter and PSG for being in the Champions League final. But the UEFA Cup final that we failed to win when we were in it a couple of years ago, now one of those two will win it. Manchester United or Tottenham. And here it is. Manchester United's new coach still will go on and win a trophy with them. How do you feel then, Arsenal fans, that again, another year, that they get trophies and we don't? Chelsea's going to get a trophy, of course, because of that conference they're playing in, which is not very strong, but they'll get a trophy. But we go without a trophy again. I feel so sorry for Arsenal fans. But it's also us that we're trying to give him a lot of chance and opportunity and try to say that, you know, next year is going to be a better year. But there's no more words to be said. It's done over and over and over again. You know, I appreciate all the comments again, and I appreciate all the fans that were asking, and shout out to my, you know, big fan and big friend, Andrew Sampson here. He, you know, was the one that told me, hey, listen, I missed your content, I missed your show. Thank you so much. We're back, and I wanted to just come back and touch on this game because, again, I know that this game is a bit painful. Not a bit painful. It's very, very painful to all the Arsenal fans. And then I feel very, very sorry for us as a club to have such a coach that really, I will tell you now, and, you know, excuse my French, but doesn't give a he doesn't. I don't see him as the right manager short run long run. And we'll see the next 3 games, where are we going to end up Premier League wise. Stay tuned. We'll come back to you hopefully with another episode very, very soon. We play Liverpool next, by the way, at Anfield. Good luck to you, Gunners. Hopefully the players recoup real quick and put their focus back in the Premier League, because we need the points. We can't go to Liverpool and lose. Even Chelsea just beat them, because you see Liverpool took their foot off the pedal. And if I was them, absolutely, I would do the same thing. They are the winners of the... And by the way, before I say the winners of this year's Premier League, Arsenal made them the winners again by losing to Bournemouth. If we didn't lose, if we beat Bournemouth, they wouldn't have been. They would have had to fight harder to get, and they would have gotten the title, but it was still, more games for them to fight. But no, Mikel Arteta was like, we're done here. So let's just go lose to Bournemouth at the Emirates at the end of the year before we play for PSG. That's the manager you want. Arsenal Fan TV America, thank you very much for watching. I wish you all the best, and I will see you after the Liverpool game. Take care now.